Dr. Elena Cross adjusted the straps of her backpack and looked out over the barren landscape below. The planet's surface stretched endlessly in shades of red and orange, with jagged cliffs and scattered craters. For a moment, she felt the familiar thrill of a first discovery. Humanity had sent explorers to countless worlds, but this one felt different. Untouched, mysterious, and alive with quiet potential. She glanced at the small device strapped to her belt, a compact terraforming tool capable of accelerating plant growth. To a human, it was a miracle of technology. To anyone else, it might look like a strange metal box with wires and glowing panels. Elena had carried it through her training, through simulations, and now, it would play a crucial role in her research. A low hum echoed from the sky above. Elena froze, scanning the horizon. Then, with a graceful sweep, a figure appeared. Floating on shimmering light, it was tall and thin, with skin that seemed to ripple like liquid silver. Its eyes, large and reflective, regarded her with curiosity rather than hostility. "Greetings, human," the alien said. Its voice was soft but clear, like a melody carried by the wind. "I am Cathara." "Why do you carry that tool?" Elena blinked. She had expected alien curiosity, but never like this. "This? Oh, it's my terraforming device," she replied, holding it up. "It helps plants grow. I'm studying how life might adapt to this planet." Cathara tilted its head, its silver skin catching the light. "It grows when you are near it," the alien observed, its voice tinged with confusion. "Why does it respond to your presence?" Elena laughed softly, not unkindly. "It doesn't really grow because of me. It reacts when I activate it. It senses my movements and energy. I think you could call it a very advanced helper." The alien's reflective eyes widened. "Fascinating. On my world, tools do not respond to the user in such a intimate way." "Intimate?" Elena asked, raising an eyebrow. "It's just a machine. Nothing more." Cathara studied her, its attention unblinking. "A machine that moves with you and helps life flourish. Curious. Perhaps your species is unique." Elena smiled. She had read about other explorers' encounters with aliens, but Cathara's level of interest was unusual. Most extraterrestrials either ignored humans or considered them irrelevant. Not this one. This one was intrigued. "Would you like to see it work?" Elena asked. She knelt down and placed the terraforming tool on a patch of cracked soil. The device made a soft whirring sound and emitted a faint green glow. Within seconds, tiny sprouts began to push through the dirt, curling toward the sky. Cathara gasped, or something like a gasp. Its long fingers hovered above the sprouts, careful not to touch. "It creates life? With only thought and energy from you?" Elena shook her head. "Not exactly thought, mostly technology and a little bit of science. But yes, it can make plants grow where none could survive before." She looked at the alien, noticing the way its entire body seemed to shimmer with interest. "Do you want to try?" Cathara hesitated, then reached forward with a trembling hand. As soon as its fingertips hovered above the device, the green glow flickered and pulsed faster. The sprouts grew taller, bending slightly toward Cathara's light-like form. Elena's heart skipped a beat. "It's responding to you," she said softly. "But that's normal. It reacts to energy. Nothing more." Cathara pulled back, almost startled. "It is alive in some way. And yet, it is not alive." "Yes," Elena said, laughing a little. "Exactly." She had spent years explaining this kind of paradox to her students. It's technology that mimics life, but it's not actually alive. The alien stepped closer, moving gracefully across the uneven ground. "Your species creates life in this manner, and you carry it with you, wherever you go." "That's right," Elena replied. She adjusted the straps of her pack, feeling a strange warmth in the presence of Cathara. We humans like to solve problems. We make tools to help us survive, and sometimes, those tools surprise us. Cathara tilted its head again, considering this. Surprise and wonder. Your species is full of contradictions. Fragile, yet inventive. Small, yet capable of great feats. Elena felt a smile tug at her lips. You humans aren't exactly small either, she said, gesturing toward Cathara's tall form. But I get what you mean. We've done some unusual things in our history. The alien seemed to shimmer in acknowledgement. Unusual and remarkable. Perhaps there is hope for this world, with your guidance. Elena's eyes brightened. I hope so. That's why I'm here. To see if life can survive. And maybe even thrive. On a planet that looks so empty right now. For several minutes, the two stood in silence. Elena watched the sprouts grow, and Cathara watched her. Despite their differences, there was a mutual respect forming a quiet understanding that each had something the other lacked. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept across the plains, kicking up dust and small stones. The sprouts bent under the force, and the device whirred in protest. Elena rushed to steady it, her hands brushing against the alien's silver ones. You humans are delicate, Cathara said, almost in wonder. And yet, you persist. Even when faced with storms that could destroy you. Elena laughed softly, brushing dust from her jacket. We're stubborn. That's one of our traits. And we learn from mistakes. Sometimes we fail, but we try again. That's how we survive. The alien shimmered, a gesture Elena interpreted as admiration. Your species adapts, creates, survives. Perhaps you are more than I expected. I like to think so, Elena replied. She glanced at the horizon, where the sun of this distant world dipped low, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. And I like to believe that with effort, life can thrive anywhere. Cathara's voice was soft, almost reverent. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps your species can bring life to even the most barren places. Elena felt a thrill. That was exactly why she loved exploration, the chance to make a difference. To bring life where none existed. And to prove that humanity, fragile and imperfect as it was, could achieve remarkable things. I'll show you more, Elena said, crouching beside the device. There are different seeds, different strategies. Each has its own reaction. It's like painting with life. Cathara's large eyes widened. Painting with life. I do not understand fully, but I wish to learn, Elena smiled. Then you'll see. It's not magic, it's science. And with patience, it can create wonders. The alien nodded, a shimmering wave passing through its form. I will observe. And perhaps, I will understand why your species is so remarkable. For the rest of the day, Elena demonstrated the device, planting seeds, adjusting settings, and explaining the principles behind the technology. Cathara watched intently, sometimes asking questions that revealed an intelligence as sharp as any human scientist. By the time the twin suns began to set, casting long shadows across the rugged landscape, the first small patch of green had taken root in the alien soil. Tiny sprouts swayed gently in the evening breeze, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. Elena looked at Cathara, who hovered silently nearby. You see? She asked softly. Even here, life can take hold. We just have to help it along. The alien shimmered, almost imperceptibly. I see. And I am amazed. Perhaps your species is worthy of attention. Perhaps even admiration. Elena laughed lightly. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. As darkness fell, the alien finally spoke again. Tomorrow, we will continue. There is more to learn. And I Wish to see how your species brings life to this world. Elena nodded, feeling a sense of hope she hadn't felt in years. Then we'll continue. Together, for the first time, on this distant planet, a human and an alien worked side by side, one teaching, one learning, both discovering that life, no matter how fragile, could flourish in unexpected ways. And above them, the stars shone like distant promises, hinting at adventures yet to come. The morning sun rose slowly over the barren planet, casting pale golden light across the newly sprouting patch of green. Dr. Elena Cross stirred from her sleep in the small, portable habitat she had set up. The air was cool and crisp, unusual for a world that had once seemed hostile and lifeless. She stretched her arms and glanced at the terraforming device resting on the table nearby. The small sprouts were already taller than yesterday, bending slightly as if greeting the dawn. Cathara hovered outside, floating just above the ground. Its silver form shimmered in the morning light, a silent sentinel watching the planet awaken. As Elena stepped out of her habitat, the alien's reflective eyes followed her every movement. "Good morning, Cathara," Elena said with a smile. "Did you sleep well?" Cathara tilted its head, a gesture Elena had come to interpret as curiosity mixed with confusion. "Sleep is not required for my species, but I rested my mind in the energy field of this planet. And you? You slept?" "Yes," Elena replied, brushing dirt from her jacket. "Even humans need rest. Our brains and bodies function better after sleep. That's part of how we survive." The alien floated closer, observing her every movement. "Curious. Your species is fragile, yet your systems require pauses, yet you accomplish much in short periods. Strange, and yet remarkable." Elena laughed lightly. "We make up for our fragility with persistence. That's what helps us survive." She reached down and activated the terraforming device. Green light spread across the soil, and the small sprouts responded immediately, growing thicker and taller. Cathara's eyes widened. "It reacts so quickly. Your presence alone affects its growth." Elena shook her head, smiling. "Not exactly my presence. It reacts when I control it. But to you, it might seem like magic." "Magic is unknown to me," the alien said, drifting closer. "But this is impressive. Your species controls life itself with thought and energy." "Not thought, just science," Elena corrected gently. "But yes, we can help life survive where it otherwise could not. That's the purpose of this device." Cathara's shimmering form pulsed slightly as if in awe. "Purpose. Your species has purpose. You do not merely exist. You seek to improve the world around you." "Fascinating." Elena nodded, feeling a sense of pride. "That's exactly what I hope to do here. To bring life to a world that seems empty and make it flourish." For several minutes, they worked together, placing seeds in neat rows, adjusting the device's settings, and observing the sprouts as they reacted. Cathara asked questions, sometimes simple, sometimes complex, but always with genuine curiosity. "You humans are inventive," Cathara said finally, hovering over the largest sprouts. Cathara, your species creates solutions to problems before they even arise. We are cautious, deliberate, but rarely innovative in such ways." Elena smiled. "We have to be. Space is dangerous, unpredictable. If we don't adapt, we fail." The alien shimmered thoughtfully. "Adaptation, creation, survival. Your species excels where others might falter." 4023, 4023, 4023, 4023, 4023, 4023, 4023, 4023, 4020. Just then, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Elena steadied herself as small rocks bounced along the soil. Cathara's form wavered, floating higher to maintain balance. Seismic activity, Elena explained. This planet is young, geologically active. That's why life struggles to survive here naturally. But with careful intervention. She gestured at the green sprouts, now bending but still standing. We can give life a chance. Cathara's reflective eyes scanned the horizon. Danger. Yet you persist. You do not retreat. Your species is resilient. Elena nodded. That's humans. We face challenges, and we find a way. Sometimes we fail, but failure teaches us to try again. The alien hovered silently for a moment. Your species learns from errors. We do not always. Perhaps this is why you are capable of greatness. Elena smiled, feeling the weight of Cathara's words. Maybe. But it takes teamwork too. That's why I'm glad you're here. Cathara tilted its head. Teamwork. You are teaching me. I am learning from you. And perhaps I can assist. Of course, Elena said. I could use your help with tasks the device cannot manage alone. Together, we can cover more ground. For the next several hours, they worked in unison. Elena operated the terraforming device while Cathara used its precise, delicate movements to plant seeds in tricky areas. They laughed silently at small mistakes. A sprout bent the wrong way, a rock fell in the wrong place, and celebrated small successes when life flourished in previously barren soil. By mid-afternoon, a small patch of green stretched across the once dead landscape. The sprouts swayed gently in the alien breeze, creating the illusion of a living carpet on the rocky soil. Cathara's reflective skin shimmered as it hovered above them. This is remarkable, Cathara said. Your species brings life where none could survive. I am impressed. Perhaps humans are unique in the galaxy. Elena felt a surge of pride. We like to think so. But it's not just the device. It's our curiosity, our persistence, and our willingness to try new things. That's what makes humans capable of, well, miracles sometimes. The alien tilted its head, considering this. Curiosity, persistence, creativity. Traits rare among intelligent species. I begin to understand why your kind can flourish in the universe. As the day wore on, they continued planting, testing the device, and observing how life reacted to their intervention. Cathara began to experiment, gently altering the device's settings to see how it would respond. Sprouts grew faster, wider, and more resilient. And the alien's fascination deepened. Your species adapts tools to suit circumstances, Cathara observed. We follow strict protocols. Innovation, outside of guidelines, is rare. But you humans excel at it. Elena laughed softly. Sometimes we break rules, sometimes we bend them. But when survival is at stake, you do whatever it takes. Survival, Cathara repeated, drifting above a cluster of newly sprouted plants. You understand it. Not merely as existence, but as improvement. Fascinating, Elena nodded. We try to improve not only ourselves but the world around us. That's what makes humans different. As evening approached, a gentle mist began to rise from the soil, nourishing the young sprouts. Elena watched as the plants bent toward the light emitted by the terraforming device. Cathara hovered silently, its eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and wonder. You humans create life with purpose, Cathara said finally. And yet, your species is fragile. Small mistakes can be fatal. Yet you persist. I begin to admire your resilience. Elena smiled softly. Thank you, Cathara. That means a lot coming from you. But I think admiration should be mutual. You've learned quickly. You've helped more than you know. The alien's form shimmered faintly. Assistance. Yes. Observation. Yes. Learning. Yes. Perhaps. We are beginning a partnership. Elena nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. A partnership is exactly what we need. Together, We can accomplish more than either of us could alone." For several minutes, they watched the growing plants, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The barren land no longer seemed hostile. It had potential. With care, life could thrive here. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the rocky terrain, Cathara finally spoke again. "Tomorrow, we will continue. There is much more to learn. I wish to understand how your species brings life to barren worlds." Elena nodded, a sense of hope filling her chest. "We'll continue. And I think you'll see that humans are capable of amazing things. Not just with tools, but with patience, creativity, and determination." The aliens shimmered in agreement. Patience, creativity, determination. Traits of your species I am beginning to appreciate fully. Perhaps humans are, indeed, remarkable. As darkness fell, they retreated to the small habitat, each reflecting on the day's successes. Elena thought about how far humanity had come, and how much further they could go. Cathara considered the human before it, realizing that curiosity and persistence could achieve what even advanced alien protocols could not. And above them, the stars twinkled in silent witness, hinting at the adventures, challenges, and discoveries still to come. The partnership between human and alien was only beginning, but already it promised to change the barren world forever. The morning air was crisp, but an unusual tension lingered over the rocky terrain. "Doctor," Elena Cross stepped outside the small habitat and stretched her arms. The green patch she and Cathara had nurtured the previous day had grown significantly. Tiny leaves shimmered in the pale sunlight, and the soil appeared healthier, more alive. Elena felt a sense of quiet pride. This barren world, which had seemed impossible to terraform, now bore the first signs of life. Cathara hovered nearby, its silver form reflecting the rising suns. It watched the sprouts with silent fascination, occasionally shifting its light-like body closer to the fragile plants. "Your species continues to impress me," it said softly. "With such fragile tools, you bring life where none should exist." Elena smiled, kneeling beside the soil. "It's not just the tools, Cathara. It's observation, patience, and constant adjustment. Nature has rules, even here. We're just learning to follow them, and sometimes bend them." The alien tilted its head, considering her words. "Bend rules. Adapt. Survive. Your species excels at improvisation. I begin to understand why humans can thrive in unpredictable environments." Elena nodded. "Exactly. Sometimes survival depends on quick thinking, and sometimes on slow, careful planning. Both are important." They spent the morning examining the sprouts, adjusting the terraforming device, and monitoring how each seed reacted to the alien soil. Cathara, now more confident in handling the device, began experimenting with patterns and placement, helping optimize growth. Its curiosity was unending, and Elena found herself learning from the alien as much as it was learning from her. Around midday, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Elena instinctively braced herself, grabbing the terraforming device. Cathara's form flickered with alarm as rocks tumbled from the cliffs. "Seismic activity," Elena shouted. "This planet is unstable in some regions. We must protect the sprouts." Cathara hovered above the largest patch, using its form to shield the fragile plants from falling debris. "Your species reacts quickly, yet your tools are delicate. You are courageous." Elena adjusted the device, activating a protective shield function that created a thin, transparent dome over the largest sprouts. "Not just courage," she said, her voice firm. "Careful planning and quick reactions. That's what keeps life alive here." The tremor lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to uproot several of the younger sprouts. Elena frowned and began carefully replanting them, while Cathara assisted, using precise movements to ensure the delicate roots were not damaged. "Your species works under pressure," Cathara said quietly. "You do not panic. You adapt." Adapt, Elena smiled faintly. Panic rarely helps. Observing, thinking, acting, that's the key. Humans survive by keeping calm when danger comes. By late afternoon, the tremors had subsided, and the sprouts were once again standing upright, green and vibrant. Elena wiped sweat from her forehead and looked at Cathara. That was a close one, but we managed. Cathara's silver form flickered with a subtle shimmer. Yes. Your species survives despite dangers. Perhaps it is not merely tools or devices that make you capable. It is your spirit. Elena felt a warmth in her chest. You're right. Our tools help. But our spirit, determination, and willingness to learn, that's what sets us apart. The alien hovered silently for a moment, observing the young plants swaying in the gentle wind. Your species is remarkable. I had not fully realized the depth of human adaptability. Perhaps we can achieve more together than apart. Elena nodded. Exactly. Together, we can do things that neither of us could do alone. Just as she spoke, a shadow moved across the horizon. Elena squinted and saw a cluster of dark shapes approaching quickly. The wind carried the faint sound of movement, an unknown species native to the planet. Cathara, do you see that? Elena whispered, her voice tense. The alien's eyes widened, its form flickering nervously. Yes. Life. Native. Not hostile. But curious. Caution advised. Elena quickly assessed the situation. The creatures were small, agile, and appeared intelligent, moving in coordinated patterns. She realized they were investigating the green patch, the first signs of life on their planet. They're curious, she said. Not dangerous, yet. But we need to protect the sprouts and ourselves. Cathara floated higher, scanning the terrain. I will shield the plants. You, observe, and adjust as needed. Together, they worked seamlessly. Cathara used its light-like body to create a gentle barrier around the sprouts, while Elena carefully repositioned the terraforming device to influence growth patterns and draw the creature's attention away. Slowly, the creatures approached, sniffing the air and probing the soil. Elena watched, fascinated. They're intelligent, she whispered. They understand something is happening here. Cathara's form shimmered thoughtfully. Your species creates life. Even other intelligent species recognize it. Remarkable. The creatures continued to circle the patch, showing interest but no aggression. Elena realized that, to survive and continue their work, they would need to communicate or at least establish boundaries. She took a deep breath and activated the terraforming device in a subtle way, emitting soft pulses of green light. The sprouts reacted instantly, bending slightly toward the approaching creatures. Cathara's eyes widened. Ingenious. Your species uses growth as communication. Without words. Clever. Elena smiled faintly. Sometimes, nature speaks louder than words. They'll understand that this patch is under protection. It's safe if they don't disturb it. The creatures seemed to comprehend. After a few cautious minutes, they stepped back, leaving the green patch untouched. Elena exhaled, feeling a wave of relief. Cathara's body shimmered softly, almost as if sharing her relief. You humans, think ahead. You anticipate reactions, plan contingencies. This is wisdom, the alien said. Elena nodded. Experience teaches us to be careful. Curiosity is good, but caution keeps life alive. As the sun began to set, the air cooled, and the sky turned a deep shade of orange. Elena looked over the thriving patch of green, feeling a sense of accomplishment unlike any she had felt before. We did well today, she said softly. Cathara hovered beside her, shimmering under the fading light. Yes. Together, we manage, where one alone might fail. Your species adapts, cooperates, survives. I am learning the depth of human capability, Elena smiled. And I'm learning from you too. Your perspective, Your precision, it helps. Life here has a chance because of both of us. For several hours, they continued refining their techniques, experimenting with the device, and observing the native creatures from a safe distance. Each success, each small green sprout that took root, felt like a victory in a battle against the barren world itself. By nightfall, the twin moons rose above the horizon, casting silver light across the rocky landscape. Elena and Cathara retreated to the habitat, exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced danger, adapted to unforeseen challenges, and emerged victorious. Elena paused before entering, glancing back at the thriving patch of life. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges," she said softly. "But I believe we can handle them." Cathara shimmered, its form reflecting the moonlight. "Yes, challenges will come, but your species will persevere. I am honored to witness human resilience." Elena's heart lifted at the alien's words. "And I'm honored to have your help. Together, we'll see life thrive here, no matter what this planet throws at us." For the first time, the barren world seemed alive, full of possibilities. Humanity, with its ingenuity, determination, and unwavering spirit, had made a mark. And with Cathara by her side, Elena knew they were only at the beginning of their journey. The stars above sparkled, silent witnesses to the partnership between human and alien, a partnership built on trust, curiosity, and the shared goal of bringing life to a world that had known none. As they settled into the habitat for the night, Elena reflected on the day's lessons. Humans were adaptable, capable of learning, and resilient. Cathara had begun to see that firsthand, and in that shared understanding, a bond had formed, one that would carry them through the challenges of tomorrow. And tomorrow, Elena knew, would bring storms, surprises, and perhaps even new discoveries. But with human ingenuity and Cathara's guidance, nothing seemed impossible. Life could survive here, life could thrive, and together, they would make it happen. The morning air was heavy with expectation. Dr. Elena Cross stepped outside her habitat, her eyes scanning the lush patch of green that had taken root over the last several days. Tiny leaves shimmered under the pale light of the twin suns, bending slightly toward the sun's warmth. The terraforming device hummed softly at her belt, its green glow radiating energy into the soil. Cathara hovered nearby, its silver form flickering gently in the sunlight. "Your species continues to amaze me," it said, voice soft but reverent. "You have brought life to this barren land, where none should survive." Elena smiled, kneeling beside the sprouts. "It's not just me. You've helped too. And the creatures of this planet, they've taught me as much as I've taught them." Cathara tilted its head, observing the delicate plants. "Learning, adaptation, cooperation. Your species exemplifies these traits in ways few others can." "Remarkable." "Remarkable," Elena nodded. "That's humans. We survive because we adapt. We thrive because we work together. Sometimes we fail, but we never stop trying." The alien remained silent for a moment, its eyes scanning the horizon. "Tomorrow will bring challenges," it said finally. "The environment here, it is unpredictable. You may face storms, unstable ground, and more of the native creatures. Yet, you continue." "Yes," Elena said firmly. "Challenges are part of exploration. We learn from them, and each success, no matter how small, helps us grow. Life isn't easy, but it's worth the effort." For the next few hours, they tended to the plants, ensuring each seedling received the proper energy and support from the device. Cathara experimented with new techniques, directing small pulses of energy to encourage roots to grow deeper and leaves to spread wider. The alien's precision and curiosity complemented Elena's intuition and experience, making the plants thrive faster than either could have managed alone. As midday approached, dark clouds gathered over the horizon. Elena frowned. "Looks like a storm is coming," she said. "Stronger than the tremors before. We need to protect the sprouts and make sure they survive." Cathara's form shimmered with concern. Agreed. I will create a barrier around the largest patches. You adjust the device to strengthen the soil and enhance resilience. Together, they worked quickly. Cathara used its light-based body to generate a protective dome over the green area, shimmering and shifting to cover each vulnerable patch. Elena activated additional settings on the device, sending pulses into the soil to help the young roots anchor deeply. The plants swayed but did not break under the wind's first gusts. The storm hit with sudden intensity. Rain mixed with fine dust fell from the sky, and powerful winds tore across the rocky plains. The sprouts bent beneath the force, but the combination of Cathara's shielding and Elena's precise adjustments kept them intact. You humans are remarkable, Cathara shouted over the wind. Your species works under pressure, with intelligence and courage. Few could manage this. Elena gritted her teeth, struggling to keep the device steady. It's not just courage, it's teamwork. We survive together, and that's why life can thrive here. The storm raged for several hours, testing the limits of both the alien and human. But every time a branch bent or a seed threatened to uproot, one of them reacted, countering the challenge. Cathara's precise movements and Elena's creative adjustments formed a rhythm, a dance of survival and cooperation. Finally, the storm began to subside. The clouds parted, revealing the pale light of the twin suns once again. The ground was wet and muddy, and debris was scattered across the terrain, but the green patch had survived. The sprouts stood resilient, bending gently in the remaining breeze. Elena collapsed onto her knees, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it, she whispered. The storm couldn't stop us. Life survives. Cathara hovered beside her, its reflective surface flickering in the sunlight. Yes, your species endures. You adapt, you protect, you persist. Few could achieve this. Truly, humanity is remarkable. Elena smiled, feeling pride swell in her chest. It's not just me. It's you too. And someday, other humans will continue this work, building on what we've started. Life will flourish here, thanks to cooperation and determination. The alien shimmered thoughtfully. Cooperation, determination, qualities your species possesses in abundance. I am learning that humans are capable of greatness. Elena nodded. And that's the HFY spirit. Humans face impossible odds and still find a way to succeed. We survive, we innovate, and we help life thrive wherever we go. The creatures native to the planet approached cautiously, drawn to the surviving greenery. They sniffed the soil, observing the sprouts and the strange human-alien collaboration. Elena held her breath, unsure how they would react. Cathara floated gently between the creatures and the green patch, subtly guiding them away from fragile areas. Then, with careful pulses of energy from the device, Elena encouraged the creatures to observe without disturbing the plants. Slowly, they seemed to understand. They backed away from the most delicate sprouts, circling the patch cautiously but without aggression. Your species communicates through actions, Cathara said softly. Even others recognize it. Ingenious. Truly, humans inspire life. To respect life. Elena laughed lightly. Sometimes words aren't needed. Actions speak louder. Life understands effort, care, and intention. As the day wore on, the green patch expanded further. Each new sprout represented a small victory, proof that humans and aliens could work together to achieve what alone would have been impossible. The barren land, once hostile and lifeless, now held promise, a testament to resilience, creativity, and determination. By evening, the sky had turned to a deep shade of purple, and the twin moons rose, casting silvery light over the terrain. Elena and Cathara stood together, surveying their work. The plants swayed gently, resilient against the recent storm. The native creatures moved back toward the horizon, watching silently, seemingly acknowledging the transformation. You have brought life to a barren world, Cathara said finally, voice soft but awe-filled. Not only with your tools, but with your spirit. Your species is extraordinary. Elena smiled, feeling the weight of the day's accomplishments. We humans have to be extraordinary. Otherwise, we wouldn't survive. And sometimes, we discover greatness in unexpected ways, like working with you. Cathara's form shimmered, reflecting the moon's light. I have observed, I have learned, and I admire your persistence, your ingenuity, your courage. Perhaps, humans are not only capable of survival, but of inspiring life itself. Elena's eyes softened. That's the goal. To bring life, hope, and growth wherever we can. To show that even barren worlds have potential. With the right effort and care, for several moments, they stood in silence, watching the plants sway in the gentle wind. Elena thought about the countless human explorers who had come before her. The scientists, engineers, and dreamers who had reached for the stars and believed they could make a difference. And now, on this distant world, she felt their spirit alive in her work. Cathara spoke again, its voice quiet but full of respect. Your species exemplifies the best of what life can achieve. I am honored to witness human capability firsthand. Perhaps, humanity is the galaxy's greatest hope for life to flourish. Elena felt a lump in her throat. And you've helped make that hope a reality. Together, we've done what few could imagine. Life is growing here. And this is just the beginning. Night fell completely, the moons reflecting silver across the land. Elena and Cathara returned to the habitat, exhausted but triumphant. The green patch thrived under the protective care of both human and alien. For the first time on this planet, life felt secure. As she settled down, Elena thought about tomorrow. There would be new challenges, perhaps stronger storms, perhaps new creatures, but she knew one thing for certain. Humans had proven that they could overcome obstacles, that they could innovate, adapt, and protect life. And with allies like Cathara, there was no limit to what they could accomplish. The stars above twinkled like distant beacons, silent witnesses to the partnership between species, to the resilience of humans, and to the life that had begun to take root on a once barren world. Elena closed her eyes, smiling. Humanity had arrived here not just to survive, but to inspire, create, and nurture. And as Cathara drifted silently beside her, she knew this was only the beginning of their shared journey, a journey of hope, growth, and the undeniable spirit of humans. Tomorrow would bring new discoveries, but tonight they had proven that even in the harshest conditions, life could flourish. And in that moment, on a distant, once lifeless planet, humanity had truly shown the meaning of HFY. Innovation, perseverance, and the power to make life thrive anywhere.